So on-premise is that we know that everything is under our control, and whatever the costing and the infrastructure cost will be handled by us. But whereas in the SaaS model, everything will be handled by Oracle. So if you see the application database and the middleware products and the server storage, networking, everything will be handled by Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
But whereas if you see in the PaaS model, so
Mm-hmm.
we will have the control over our application and the data. So when we will use the PaaS model is that there will be more of cases where we will have to integrate with the third party application.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we are into business where we have multiple application and we wanted to connect with the multiple application. So if at all we wanted to expose our database or we wanted to connect with the other application, we will need some sort of access. So for those cases, we will need the PaaS model. So basically with the web services, we will connect it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the difference. And infrastructure as a service where we will have control over the middleware products also, like the SOA and the Bipple and the other products.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a major difference between each of the model.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the fusion architecture, I would say, at high level. So I
Mm-hmm.
have segregated into three parts. So one is fusion application, and the other one is middleware, and the fusion database. And
Mm-hmm.
Fusion application is nothing but each modules or each offerings that we say in Fusion application. That is finance, procurement, manufacturing,
Mm-hmm.
similarly. And we have middleware products. So middleware products we have a big list. For an understanding purpose, I just gave only the four middleware products. So
Mm-hmm.
that is BPM, UCM, Bipple, and SOA. So BPM is used for our workflow management. So in R12, basically we call AME, but here we call
Mm-hmm.
business process management.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a few difference between R12 and Fusion here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see in R12, we have the journal approvals and all those things. It can be set up in a simpler way. But whereas in Fusion application, whatever the approval that we are seeing, it will be configured only in the BPM and it will be processed through this.
Mm-hmm.
And UCM. So UCM is a new concept here in Fusion. So UCM is nothing but Universal Content Manager. So what it will do is it will stay as a middleware. It will help us to process the data migration activities easily. In the sense, a functional consultant can do the data migration activity. For
Mm-hmm.
example, we will have the supplier conversion and we will have the open invoices conversion. So this can be
Mm-hmm.
taken over using the Excel sheet FBDA template.
Mm-hmm.
So using this, we can upload the things. So basically, what will happen is that this UCM is will ease the data migration activity. So
Mm-hmm.
we will get the data in this Excel sheet and we will load it uh, in directly in the base table. So that is the difference. So the data migration activity and the role of the technical consultant will be minimized here.
Mm-hmm.
And Bipple and SOA. Bipple and SOA are, I mean, I can say Bipple is a component of the SOA, so it will be used for the integration. So where
Mm-hmm.
the web service and everything will be written there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have database. So database, we have Fusion DB where we will enter all transaction and S-based database. So S-based database is for the reporting purpose and mostly for reporting purpose. So what will happen is that it will create cubicle values. So when
Mm-hmm.
we are creating a ledger, basically it will create cubes inside this fusion.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be different from our usual fusion database. So this cubes will be useful for us in terms of taking the reporting in FRS.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the high level enterprise structure so that we have it in Fusion application.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see here on top of it, we have the enterprise. So enterprise I cannot compare with business group in EBS. The reason for that is I can have multiple business group, but whereas in Fusion I cannot have multiple enterprise.
Mhm.
Enterprise can be only one, but whereas the legislative data group that can be different. So let's
Mhm.
say a customer is migrating from maybe EBS to Fusion application.
Mhm.
So how do we handle it? So let's say there is a scenario where I have business in US and India. So I have two business unit created for this. So one is for India and one is for US. So on this cases, what we will do is that so we have the legal entity. So we can create this legal entity and we can attach this as an legislative data group and we can attach it to the enterprise. So this way we can set up our map, our structure between EBS and Fusion application.
Mhm.
So enterprise will be always one. So in this case, for example, I have taken Honeywell case, and we have multiple divisions. So division is an optional, but if we wanted to have, we can have. Division is nothing but line of business.
Mhm.
So we have primary ledger. This is similar to our EBS environment, and we have legal entity. Below legal entity, we will have business unit. So business unit is just a term change for the operating unit.
Mhm.
And below business unit we have distribution center. So distribution center is just for an reporting purpose where basically this will have an what do you call the profiting a part of it. And
Mhm.
below that we have inventory arc, and below that we have the global item master. So item
Mhm.
master will be an virtual office where we don't have any physical office for the item master. So since this is a virtual office, we can have one item master for all the inventory arc, or maybe we can use for a different inventory arc as well. So this is the enterprise structure.
Okay.
And fusion roles and users. So how is this different from EBS and fusion? So this will be an huge change, I would say. The reason for that is in EBS, we don't have the concept of role-based access control. So the role-based access control, maybe we can say in the HRMS model for the leave approvals and all those things. So if I have role, I will be able to approve the leave. So this is what we have it in EBS, but in Fusion, it will be entirely different.
Mhm.
So we have categorized into multiple parts. So that is job role, duty role, data role, and abstract role. So what is job role? So job role is nothing but a collection of work that we'll be doing in a particular day. So maybe I'll do the invoicing and maybe I'll be doing the accounting or payments. So similarly, so that we call job role. And we have duty role. So duty role is kind of an specific role where I would say I will create only the invoices. And
Mhm.
data role is something that I have access to the particular business unit or the ledger. And
Mhm.
abstract role is nothing but assigning this particular function or the data role to a user that we call abstract role. So these are
Mhm.
the different combinations we have. So as a part of the original implementation, we will have all this default roles. So for example, we will have invoice supervisor. So under this, we will have the access for all the business unit. But whereas in the real-time implementation scenario, we will not need all the access, where we will need to restrict few users to access few business units. So for those cases, we will have to customize the roles.
Mhm.
So after customizing the roles, we will attach this particular role to the user. So
Mhm.
this is about the role. So there is a difference. If I have to compare this role-based access control with EBS, in EBS, if you see, I cannot this I can say as a function. So function is nothing but what I can do in the application. But whereas
Mhm.
in EBS, I cannot directly use the function or attach this function to the user. I will have to create a menu and I can attach the menu to the user. I mean responsibility. and
Mhm.
responsibility will be in turn attached to the user. So that is the difference. But whereas role will be directly attached to the user in Fusion. So that is the primary difference.
Mhm.
And if we take users here in Fusion, we have two kinds of users. So one is the implementation user and the other is employee user. So implementation user is the one who will do setups and all those things. Basically, he will implement the Fusion application. And the
Mhm.
employee user will be the one who will be doing the transaction actually. So for
Mhm.
example, the procurement agent or the buyer in EBS.
Mhm.
So to do an implementation, what are the roles that we will be requiring? So that will be application implementation consultant, IT security manager. So what this role will be doing? So basically, the application implementation consultant will allow us to do the setup, or it will grant access to do the setup. But whereas IT security manager will be similar to the system administrator in EBS.
Mhm.
So where I can create new users or I can create new roles and I can assign these roles to the user. So these are the difference that we have. So I would say this will be a major change between EBS and Fusion.
Mhm.
So we have something called FSN, Functional Setup Manager. So under Functional Setup Manager, we have different options. So how do we create an implementation project and what is offering and what is features and what is options?
Mhm.
So offering is nothing but our modules or the packages in EBS. So if you see finance modules, we can say APAR, GLFA, and cash management. So all these things are categorized under financials. So under financials, we will see all this AP, GL, and FA and the other modules.
Mhm.
So basically, this collection of financial modules we call offerings,
Mhm.
and each module that is AP, AR, GL, we call this as an features, and each functionalities like the payment and the invoice we call options.
Mhm.
So how do we start the implementation before we start with our basic configuration from GL to create the value set and other things? So how do we start? So basically we will have to have an user. So when we take this Fusion implementation, Oracle will be giving a link to us to start with our configuration part. So basically we will have the test environment and then we will have the development environment. Then we will have the production environment. To
Mhm.
start with our implementation, we will have to create an implementation project first, and then we will create an user for this. And we will
Mhm.
assign this particular project to the users so that we can track each and every activity, or maybe we can say this much percentage is completed and this much percentage is pending. And
Mhm.
then after creating the project, we will have to assign the offerings and the features to the particular project. So
Mhm.
once we are done with all this basic configurations, then we can start creating the implementation project.
Mhm.
Yeah. So maybe if you have any questions, we can take up, or else we can see something like how to create an implementation and all those things in the system.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Arun, did you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this will be the landing screen in Fusion application.
Mhm.
So if you see here,
This down.
in the right corner, we have something called setup and maintenance.
Mhm.
So this is the place where we will have to create the implementation project.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see in the left side, we will have all the offerings that we have opted for. So for example, I'm choosing financials. So if I choose financials, so this will appear kind of a shortcut to me where I can do the regular setups, all the mandatory setups, and I can move testing the application. So if you see
Mm-hmm.
here in the general ledger, so I will see all the related basic configuration that I need. So I will
Mm-hmm.
need the primary ledger and the ledger options and the other options to be set up. So instead
Mm-hmm.
of going directly to the implementation project, so this will be one, two, three step ahead. So I will be directly accessing here and I can do it. So in order to do this, I will need to assign. I have to be assigned with a particular project. So I will just show how to create an implementation project. So to create an implementation project, the navigation is manage implementation project. So where I can just click add, and maybe I can, so I'm just giving a name for the project and I can give the start date for this project. So either I can directly open this project and add the related offerings and the features to it, or I can click next and I can select the required offerings. So if you see, these are the offerings that we have. So in this, we have financials. So I'm selecting financials. So under this, I can select whether I wanted to have all these things or I can have only the invoicing part or the customer processing part. That is AP and AR. So this will be the reporting part, financial business intelligent analytics.
Mm-hmm.
So once we have created the implementation project, so let's say we will implement also the supply chain modules, but we didn't select while creating the implementation project. So on these cases, maybe we can add as a task. Task are the offering. So if you want to add a specific task, that we can do it, or if you wanted to add a specific or the entire offering, so that we can add it from the implementation page as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have created the project. So if you see here, I can just drill down. So these are the different features that I have. So my offering would be financials, and uh, this would be offering, and this will be featurings.
Mm-hmm.
So here I can see this is my AP module, and this is my fixed asset module, and this is my AR module. Similarly, I have revenue management, cash management, and the other modules. So here we can see the status of this particular offering. So it will be in not started. So if I want to change the status, I can edit the status and I can change the status whether this is completed or this is in progress. I can change the status accordingly. And if I want to see whether this project is assigned to a particular resource, so that I can see it from assigned to. So here I'll be seeing it. So for example, maybe I'll assign a task for an employee. So I'll assign to India.India. So now I can see that this is assigned to a particular resource, that is India.India. So similarly, I can track, and also if I wanted in the same page, if I wanted to set a due date, maybe the project have a strict timeline. So if I wanted to have it, I can set a due date for this so that I'll have it here.
Mhm.
And I can see the authorized roles. As of now, we didn't set up any role to this particular user. So the roles will not be there. So after we assign the role, we will have it here.
Mhm.
And apart from that, if you want to add maybe the new task or the new task list or the new offerings, that we can select it from here. So maybe let me select procurement. So I can select this procurement. Yeah. So we have the procurement here. Okay. So apart from that, let's say we don't know the navigation. So maybe I don't know the navigation for manage user to create an employee. So I'll just type it here. So system will show me the possible things to me. So here we can see the manage users are there. So this is what I wanted to click. So if I click this, I'll see the manage user. From there, I can direct to the page that I want. And if you want to see the navigation for this, we can click this arrow. So we will get the navigation. So that is financials, common application configuration. Under security, we have this manage user.
Mhm.
And at high level, we will have the other information as well, the completion and the finish date. If we have set up that, we will have it. So this is about the implementation project. So if you have any question, maybe we can take, or we can move to the security console.
Yeah, we'll go ahead with the security console.
So this is security console. Basically, we will have the users creation and the roles creation.
Mhm.
So I'll just show the user first. So I can select any user from here. So user creation is simple. We will just click add user, and we will give the user related information, the mail ID and the username and the password. And after creating this, we will assign this particular user to the employee, so that we will have the business unit access and the specific department and the location and everything assigned to this user. So apart from that, unless we have this roles assigned to the user, we will not be able to access anything. So I'll just edit this role. So to assign role, we have two parts to it. So one is to add role here, and we need to give also access to the user. So that is like add data access to the user. So in this case, I have taken, I have applied different roles to the one user, that is India. So that is I have given the accounts receivable manager and accounts receivable specialist and the implementation consultant role as well.
Mhm. So tell me something here, Arun. How would you know, let's say you're a first timer, right?
Yes.
And you're using the Fusion application, and how would you know what roles to assign? Like, let's say if you're doing the receivables and now you have a couple of them assigned, right? The
Yeah,
roles.
yeah,
So how does a new person know exactly what roles are there for the receivables? Is it standard that every that's the
yes.
specific role that you assign for receivables?
Yeah. So we have it in Oracle repository. So Oracle repository is a cloud platform is maintained by Oracle. So where we will have the roles and its usage and what are the components it's having and what are the privileges that we will have for each role. So it will be
Mhm,
segregated by module, that is AP, AR, GL and FA. So where we will identify, so this role will be used only for this purpose so that we can have this access to the user. And so maybe I'll show it here as well. So apart from that, we can see in roles as well. So I'll take accounts receivable manager.
mhm. Think receivable, yeah.
Yeah. So if we see, so these are the functions that that is available under this particular role. So either
Mhm,
it would be a receivable manager or the accounts receivable specialist.
mhm,
So this will be a kind of an comparison between two roles. So apart from what we have, the list of roles in the Oracle repository. So after
mhm,
taking the roles from there, so if we wanted to know what are the functionalities that I have it under this particular role, so that
mhm,
I can see it from here. Maybe I can compare between two different roles as well. So in this case, I have taken accounts
mhm,
receivable manager and accounts receivable specialist.
mhm,
So if you see, there are some options that is available only for accounts receivable manager, but it is not available in accounts receivable specialist.
mhm. But how would you know what the roles are? Is there a list of roles defined somewhere?
Yeah, list of roles. That's what it is there in repository actually, Oracle repository. Maybe I can give you the list as well.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I can give you the list. That I can just take from the repository and I'll give it to you. So what are
Okay.
the list
When
of
you say repository means where do you go and get it?
So that we can just get from Google, that we will have
Oh,
it.
just Google it and get it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was just wondering, like, somebody wants to look from the application itself, what's there. You can't just look it like that, right? You just have to
Yeah,
search it from the map,
directly.
probably the manuals or somewhere, and then get it.
Yeah, yeah. So we should get it from our repository. So that is an open source where we can
Mm-hmm.
see. So basically, the repository will contain the roles and the APIs, table names, and
Mm-hmm.
the view names, and everything will be seen there in the repository.
Okay.
But here we cannot have the list of roles. So list of
Mm-hmm.
role in the sense we can see it from here. But
Mm-hmm.
if we wanted to see the usage and the other things, we will have to see it in the repository.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you the list of roles and its usage and when to use it and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So apart from that, here we have a few other options. So edit role or copy role. So edit role is nothing but editing this role. It is not allowed basically. So if we
Mm-hmm.
want to see the details of it, we can see it from here. Or if we are trying to customize this particular role, so that we can
Mm-hmm.
customize using this option copy role. So copy role
Mm-hmm.
is nothing but copying this particular role, and
Mm-hmm.
we will just remove the options that we don't want to give it to the user. So where we will set up the particular BU level access or the ledger level access.
Mm-hmm.
And compare role is what we saw, that how to compare two different roles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And simulate navigation based on the role access that we have given. So what are the navigations that we will give it so that we can simulate from here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just click edit role. So this is just a naming convention and we are just giving the role category. So whether it will fall under the financials or supply chain or projects.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see here that do not modify. So Oracle will give a note
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the privileges that we have it. So we have import payable invoice. Maybe if we want to remove this option, so we
Mm-hmm.
can remove it. Since this is not editable mode, so I'll not have an option to delete it. So if you see
Mm-hmm.
here, it is disabled. So if I do
Mm-hmm.
throw copy role, I'll be able to remove this option. So
Mm-hmm.
that user will have only the specific role access.
Mm-hmm. So why would they name it edit role when they don't let you edit it?
Now this is kind of only an view mode, so we cannot edit it.
Yeah, I think they should rename it.
Yeah. So then we have the data security policy. So data security policy is kind of an access. So at what
Mm-hmm.
level I can have the access? So if you see here, so these are the functionalities that I have, and I have given access to the trading community and similarly the other application data sets as well.
Mm-hmm.
So basically this stands as an access or the grants to the users.
So I believe you can add something here, right?
Yeah, yes, yes, we can add. If
Okay.
you see here, we
Yeah,
click.
because it's not disabled. So yeah.
Yeah,
So that way it is editable. Okay.
yeah. So these are the roles that we have. So that I mean, not roles. These are the functions that we have for this role. So we
Mm-hmm.
have customer inquiry and we have the item inquiry. Similarly,
Mm-hmm.
so this will be a big list since this is an default role given by Oracle. So we have I mean almost the AP and AR.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we call the access to the user. So if I want to restrict this particular role assigned to a given user, so I can restrict it here. So this is added by all the relevant users. But if I want to give access only to a specific user, either I can do this by clicking delete, or I can add a user, the new user that I'm creating. So I can add it
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that this role will be accessed only by this particular users.
Okay.
So this will give an summary what is there and what is added and removed. Since we didn't do any addition or removal, it is saying 0.
Mm-hmm.
So this way we can edit our roles.
Mm-hmm. So question here.
Yeah.
Um, so now I know you just showed me this, but when people ask you about, let's say, we are looking for Oracle Cloud Security, some architect or whatever, I don't know what the role is, just this, they advertise for that kind of job, right?
Yeah.
So what is expected in that? What do they normally do? Security in the sense only, I mean, just these editing things, and what all does it involve?
So security in the sense you are saying about the user level access security, or which level of security?
No, no, this one is just like, I'm just, like positions, job positions when they're looking, right?
Yeah.
They say we are looking for security specialist or something like that, like the cloud security specialist or something like that. So what do they normally expect from that kind of a role? Any idea?
Uh, I mean, I'm not sure if you're asking on the application part or the
Not
re-
exactly the application. Let's say now somebody is looking for an integration specialist role.
Okay.
Like this, somebody is again saying, okay, I want fusion security specialist or something like that. So what do you normally see that kind of a thing, or is it something that I'm making up?
No, basically, I haven't seen anything requesting for security role specific, but instead,
Okay.
I can say it will be for the entire security console. So a person will be
Yeah, yeah.
maintaining entirely the user management and also the role-based access control.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly what I meant. Yeah.
yeah, so so basically we will assign IT security manager, so that that particular resource will have access to either delete the role or enable the role.
Okay.
But usually company won't recruit for only specific maintenance of roles and management. So this will be
Hmm.
part of the entire support process where a functional consultant will have to deal with the user management and all those things, or a person from the IT team of the client. So they will have a particular manager to have a control on this roles and the user management.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Any other question?
I know it's a dumb question, but I just wanted to know. I just wanted to see how it, normally because they keep sending in these kind of requests, like, you have to know security or, specifically for a security job position or something like that. That's so I was just wondering, what all is involved in that.
Yeah. So basically, security, in the sense, it involves only two things. So one is the user management, and the other is roles management. So
Okay.
roles management is nothing but basically we will customize role based on the requirement of the company and user. It is just given creating an employee and giving access to the user and the preliminary setups that we will have the organization created. So that will be part of our implementation. But apart from that, we will create the access to the employee.
Hmm.
So these are the two things that we will have it in security related access.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question?
No, no, go ahead.
Okay. So, so I think we saw the implementation and we saw the roles and users, and Apart from that, maybe we can speak something about the what is new in the Fusion application. So, yeah,
Can I ask you something here?
yeah.
When we do these kind of things, when you show this, right? Do you have any kind of activities that I can do on my end? Like,
Uh,
do you have like, how do I say is like your student study material, not actually studying, but something practical that I can go and do, like creating roles or editing roles or something like that, and where I can practice.
yeah, again, this is, I mean, user manuals, we have it. If you want, maybe I can share with you.
Yeah, if like usually Oracle gives you those manuals, right? You have those exercises that you can do after every
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so.
So that we have it here, like again, the same part in Oracle repository. So we will have all these materials given there. So we will have the basic setups and what are the things that we'll be doing and the other reference point basically. So in this case, I
Mhm.
have taken expense configuration. So it will give a brief introduction that what is expense configuration and it will tell us that what are the setups that is involved to do this and the approval part of it and the basic configuration and the related setups for it.
Mhm. No, I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about like, you'll have exercises after you do, right? Normally when you take Oracle
Yeah.
courses, like they give you like exercises how to do it,
Okay.
basically. Do you have anything like that?
Exercise part as of now we don't have actually.
Okay. Because usually they have those in the study materials when they give you after a course, right? They
Yeah.
give you those exercises to practice. So that gives you exactly like how to do it. But I don't care about that. But even in general, if you can give me some exercises from your end,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Sure.
that
Sure.
I can practice that, and it makes more. I want it to be more practical and relevant to the day-to-day life, not just bookish knowledge.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't. I don't want the bookish thing because I tend to forget things.
Yeah.
So at least if I practice that, it'll make sense to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. That we can do it. That I'll be giving end of each session. That I
Yeah,
can.
like now you did something like with the roles, right? Let's
Yeah.
say you tell me, go ahead and create a role. Even when you're there and I can just do it when you're there, then
Yeah.
it'll at least give me some confidence of at least, oh, okay, this is how I'm doing or what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. That we can do it. So maybe today we can take creating roles. If you want, I can give the things also like how to proceed this. So maybe you can start creating a role where user will have access only to the invoice entry and the payment entry. So apart from these two options, we have the other options as well to enquiry and to see the reports and the other period closure and the opening part. So we will have to remove other options and we will have to have only two options to enter an invoice and enter the payment. So maybe you can start customizing this role and attach this to the user and check whether this is reflecting when I log in with the particular user where I created this as a new.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe you can check this one. So I'll prepare some other exercises as well. So I'll give it end of each session.
Yeah, so you get my point, right? So at
Yeah,
least
yeah,
I'll be much more, practical in the sense like I can at least relate to what I'm doing and it makes sense to me.
yeah, yeah. Understood.
Um, so and because most last, I did Fusion 3 years back
Okay,
in HCM. Okay,
okay,
I did all the modules. I did
okay,
my certification also, but I don't remember anything because I didn't get a chance to work on it.
okay,
When I did my Oracle Cloud, HCM, I got a financials job.
okay.
Whenever I do something, I get the most irrelevant job I ever have. So I ended up doing financials, and so I lost touch with HCM, and I forgot. I mean, when I don't do it, I don't remember anything, frankly speaking. So that's why I thought, it's much more easier if I can relate to it and I can do it.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So for now, we can take this customizing role. So maybe I'll prepare the other exercises as well, and maybe I'll share it with you.
Yeah. And something like if you're doing a mini project kind of a thing, I want it to be more practical than I don't care about too much of notes in the sense like memorizing and all that is not me. So I just
Yeah.
want to understand the concept more, just the concepts itself, and then why I'm doing certain things and for what reason, kind of a thing.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so that it's much more easier to relate to it, and then because I can at least talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, understood. So maybe we can take a business case and maybe we can start working on that business case where we will
Yes,
implement the different modules. We will go that way.
yes. Like let's say we are doing a company, we just started off with an implementation project. So
Yeah,
we are building on that project with
yeah,
every module or everything, so that at least it makes sense, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah, sure, we can do that. So what we can do is we can take this Honeywell as an our use case and maybe we
mm-hmm,
can try to implement Oracle for Honeywell. So in this case,
mm-hmm,
we can say Honeywell is procuring Oracle Fusion application for their financial modules
mm-hmm.
and the supply chain module. So we will leave the supply chain modules and we will take up the financial modules. So I'll try to
Okay.
configure the supply chain part so that we will have the entire flow. So that is from P2P or O2C. So
Okay.
apart from that, we will see the financial part in detail, like what is the requirement and what needs to be done, and what we
Mm-hmm.
will be doing in the Fusion application to meet that.
Yeah. And do we does this also include the reporting?
Yeah, reporting we will see the basics, but not in depth. Like we will understand what is report and how to do it. So when we speak about the report, we have two aspects to it. So one is that BI publisher, and the other one is OTBA report. So
Mm-hmm.
where OTBA report we can create manually, like a functional consultant can create OTBA report where it is kind of a drag and drop. So we can
Mm-hmm.
have it so that we will be seeing it.
Yeah, my SQL is very bad, so so I may need help in that also, just
Yeah,
because when
yeah,
somebody says, "Do you know this?" I have to at least say, "Yeah, I know it," just to get in.
yeah, sure, sure. We will get those basic understandings. Definitely, we will have it.
Okay.
Uh, like the modules, we will have each reporting where we have the SQL builder. So we will not. I mean, the basic idea should be there, so that
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
I'll be telling you that basic
Mm-hmm.
idea. And
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, we have something called a query builder. So instead of writing the entire query, we have something
Mm-hmm.
called query builder.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be just like in selection, and based on that, we can build the reports.
Okay.
Uh,
Also a quick question. When you were just saying, right, for the financials, before we do the financial project implementation kind of a thing, you said you'd have to do something on the supply chain.
yeah.
So what are the things that you do before you actually kick off with this financials? What are the major ones that you set up?
So supply chain configuration will be parallel to the financial configuration. So when we are testing this particular functionality, where supply chain will come in first place and finance will come in second place. But
Mm-hmm.
in terms of configuration, so we will have the approval rules. I mean, I'm speaking in about procurement module. So in
Mm-hmm.
procurement model, there are few difference between the EBS and Fusion. So where if
Mm-hmm.
you see in EBS, so we have something called account generator. So based on
Mm-hmm.
the account generator, we will have the accounts for the purchase order created. But
Mm-hmm.
whereas in the Fusion application, we call tab, that is transaction account builder. So this
Mm-hmm.
is similar to our SLA configuration or customizing the SLA. So based on
Mm-hmm.
this, system will pick the account and it will generate the account code combination. So
Mm-hmm.
similarly, there are few difference. So based on this setups, so we will create the purchase order.
Okay. So my question is, let's say a company is there and they're just implementing the financial modules, just the
Okay.
financial modules. So do
Okay.
they, in that case, do how should they have a procurement module also?
No, that is not mandatory. So this will be an optional. So in case they are taking financial model, so this will be an, let's say they are implementing AP module without the procurement. So the
Mm-hmm.
invoice creation will be manual always, not, I mean, this will be non-PO based invoice. So that will be always a manual invoice. So
Okay.
that is not mandatory to have the SCM modules. So this is
Okay.
always an option.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is where we will see basically the basic inputs. So apart from that, if you wanted to understand the table name and the other details also, we can see it from here. Okay, before speaking about the table names, so I'll speak something about the integration aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so let's say in our case, Honeywell. So Honeywell is having two applications. So one is
Mm-hmm.
for the financial reporting, so that they are implementing the Fusion application. So apart
Mm-hmm.
from this, they are having the core application. So that is to take orders through the mobile application or whatever the source they have. So
Mm-hmm.
from there, the data will be posted here in their core application. And from the core application, we are taking the details or the transaction to our Fusion application. So in order to
Mm-hmm.
have this, so we will have to set up an integration point between the core application and the Fusion application. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we do the integration? So this will be through the web services. So to get the
Mm-hmm.
web services, so we will have the JSON object. So the
Mm-hmm.
JSON object is nothing but this will act as an the get and post method. So through this particular data model, we will get the data from the source application or the core application to our Fusion application.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see here, so we have
Mm-hmm.
for each model. So I'll just one take one case. So this is our basic JSON object. So where we will have the bank name and we will have the data will be given in this particular string.
Mm-hmm.
So for against this bank, so what is the bank name and the branch and the other details will be here. So based on that,
Mm-hmm.
we will get the data from the source object using the JSON format. So this will be our data structure. So how do we want to get our data into the Fusion application? So this is the format that we will be using. So this is given by Oracle as a default. So we can
Hmm.
use this format as it is, and we can integrate with the core application.
Hmm.
So this is one part. So yeah,
So this is what I want from you, Arun.
yeah,
What as I said, right, give me something, keeping in mind, I know you've done some implementations as per Suresh, right? So what are the core things that are needed to understand the whole thing, right? So I want you to make it more practical for me, if that is possible.
yeah, yeah,
Like how
sure.
you're just telling me right now,
Yeah,
this JSON thing, how to use this and all that. Um, can we just do the project that way so that it makes sense to me?
yeah, 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 sure, sure. So
I mean, I
I'll
don't mind if you take some time, think about it, and how you want to proceed. That's fine too. But that's the way I would like it.
yeah, yeah, sure. We will take it the practical way. That is not an issue. So what I will do is that I'll take the real time scenario, and I'll try
Hmm.
to showcase it here. And
Yeah.
wherever it is possible, I'll try to connect. And if you see integration, I'll not be able to connect it. So I'll be
Of
sure.
course, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. But as long as we understand, at least I understand, how it's done or what is needed, then it's much more easier when somebody asks me a question. Let's assume I'm thrown into some project where I have no
Yeah,
clue what to do.
yeah,
And I cannot say, oh, click here, click there. That basic
yeah,
functionality is different. Of course, that also I need to know. But at the same time, how it's done and how we can do certain things, at least if I have that knowledge, at least when somebody is talking, at least it'll make sense to me, even if I don't do it.
yeah. Sure. We will do that. Not a problem. So that's
Okay,
what.
so yeah.
Um, yes,
So
yes.
that's where I want it more practical. And because see, earlier also, as I said, 2 years back, I actually did all these Oracle courses itself.
Okay.
Okay, I just did on demand. I was doing, so I was like listening to them, listening to them, listening to them. That's it. Whenever I was listening, I understood everything. Afterwards, everything I forgot. So that's my state when I don't use it, and
Yeah,
especially I haven't even, when I really was looking for the job, no, nobody even touched me with a barge pole, because they said, do you have practical, I mean, do you have real time experience? I said no. I said, did my certification, I did this, that nonsense. Nobody wants to give me a job. So, so at least if I have the practical knowledge, it gives me the confidence of at least talking about it.
yeah, sure. Yeah, understood, understood.
Okay, so I mean, I've seen a lot of, there are a lot of people giving these trainings, and most of them are like, of course, they tell you how the application is done, or what to click on, what it gives, or what it tells.
Yeah,
That's fine, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that gives me more practical examples on how to relate to a real-time project and what exactly happens and what is expected.
yeah, sure.
Okay. Even if it takes a day or two extra, I don't mind. I don't mind learning it and spending time on that.
Yeah, sure. We will do that. So basically, what I'll do is I'll take a scenario, and maybe on top of that, we can start working. And maybe we will set kind of an requirement, and for this requirement, what needs to be done. So we can start doing this way. So it
Yes.
will be kind of an practical way of doing it, and you can relate in the different projects as well. So
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
if you work on a particular project, and maybe the other project as well, you can just relate it easily, and we can do that. So that is just an functionality. So we can do that way.
So now these kind of JSON things on all that's given here. So every functional person can also do this, right?
No, this will be handled by technical person. So, but
That's
the
what I was
function,
thinking.
yeah, yeah, this will,
Because in my team, because I was working on a project which is similar, we had
yeah,
a lot of REST APIs that we used, but
okay.
everything was done by a technical guy. So that's what I was wondering. When I saw you showing this, I thought, oh, is it functional people also can do this? I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah, so basically this will be handled by technical resource, but functional consultant should have a basic
Knowledge of
understanding.
what's
Yeah,
there. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that is why I was just showing you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, show me these, nothing, no, no problem. But as I said, the more practical, the better it is. I just don't want to be too blindsided with just the typical functional buttons, this, that, and all that. I
Yeah,
mean, of course, I need to know that also. It doesn't mean that I don't need that. It's
yeah,
just that everything in totality.
yeah, yeah. Understood.
So, where are you currently working, Arun?
I'm working with 4i apps. It is in Chennai, so it is Chennai-based company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so mostly they deal with Middle East. So as of now, I'm in India. So because of COVID.
Oh, okay, okay. Hey, also another question. I'm also looking for, some dumps for if I have to take the, what is that, certification, financials. Do you have any dumps?
Dumps I don't have, but maybe I can check with someone and I can get you if you want.
Yeah, because maybe if I put that on my resume, at least somebody will come and ask, at least you have something. If you don't have real-time experience also,
Yeah,
maybe somebody will get me a job or something. I don't know.
yeah, sure, sure. I'll get you the dumps. No problem.
Yeah, because what I'm getting right now, when I wanted the HCM job, nobody gave me. Now, when I want financial job, everybody is giving me HCM job. I'm like, I want to bang my head somewhere. So, anyway, so yeah, yeah, we can move forward. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to show. Like this is like basic API, and apart from that, we have the tables and the other details also. So I'll just take to that one also. Yeah. So here we can see. So in this case, I have taken asset module. So for asset module, we have schema. So schema is nothing but on what are we working. Like we have different schema for, maybe we will have one schema for AP or one schema for AI. So similarly,
Hmm.
so in this case, schema is fusion, and we have the table name,
Hmm.
and we have the primary key. So primary key will be the connecting point between the different tables. So that is asset
Hmm.
ID, and we have different columns here. So why do we need this inputs? So
Hmm.
basically, there are two cases: whether the particular resource is experienced professional, or
Hmm.
maybe the person is new to the technical part or the reporting part. So maybe I'll
Hmm.
be new to this reporting, so I will not know the table
Which
names.
columns to pull? Okay.
Yeah, the table names and the other details. So while
Hmm.
I'm creating the report, so if I wanted to take the table name and the other details, I'll come here and I can just take the table name, and I can fetch the values or the columns whatever I wanted to fetch, like the asset ID and the depreciation amount. So whatever I wanted to pick, I can pick from here.
Hmm.
So this will be an guide to us in terms of selecting the keys and the values for the report.
Hmm.
So similarly, we have for all the modules. So each table has been listed out here. So if you see here, so we have a big list only for the fixed asset. So
Hmm.
apart from that, we have for each module like accounts payable, accounts receivable, and general ledger. So similarly, so we can
Hmm.
get all these details. So we have the primary keys, we have the foreign keys, and So primary key is basically an unique value where it cannot be duplicated. So this is serialized by Oracle, so we will not have duplicate value. So that is primary key. And also we have the foreign keys where we will try to link with the different tables.
Mhm.
So we have maybe four foreign keys in this case.
Okay.
So asset ID. So using asset ID, we can link between different tables.
Mhm.
So that's about the tables and this thing. So tables will be, so this will be basically used for our
Reporting.
reporting purposes. And the earlier one, the REST API web services that we saw is for the integration.
Integration.
Yeah. So that's all. So any questions?
No, I think I'm good in the sense like, of course, everything is a lot, but what I'm saying is, I think once we start doing the practical stuff,
Yeah.
then it gets easier.
Okay.
Um, and how about the link? So you're going to share the link for the environment?
Yeah. I can share the link. Yeah, I'll check whether the latest refresh is done. I'll
Okay.
I'll check and I'll share it to you.
Yeah. And also the other one is like, just a general question. So you've been working in Fusion for how long?
So the total experience for me is 8 years. So 5 years I was into EBS and the last 3 years I'm into Fusion.
That's what I was
I'm
thinking. 8 years when you said, I was like, oh,
yeah,
8 years. Okay. Yeah, I know. Even I wanted to start with the bandwagon of Oracle Fusion. That's what I said, right?
yeah,
2016, I did. That's it, done. I didn't get a job. I said, forget it. So, so how's the market for financials, man? Fusion financials?
yeah. For Fusion Financials, there
Not
are.
great.
I mean, it's we are having good market, but only thing is they will expect us to have more. They will expect more from us. But
Mm.
apart from that market, I would say it's pretty good. But now it has came down a little bit, maybe due to
Yeah,
this pandemic thing, I think. But apart from that, market is good, I would say. But
really?
EBS,
Because people say ABS, I mean, they still, I think a lot of the companies still prefer R12 than Fusion because I don't think Oracle Financials is a big hit with implementers, right?
yeah,
When it comes to HCM, probably it's much more, it's probably a better option, I believe, compared to financials.
yeah.
So I'm just wondering, that's what, because I don't know. I haven't seen any single guy contact in terms of financials. I'm surprised actually.
Okay,
Lots of HCM things are coming. That's because, as I said, I have Oracle certification for HCM. Maybe because of that, they're sending in.
okay.
I don't know, but so.
Yeah, HCM we have market, but still we have for financials as well. I mean, I'm receiving calls also. Uh,
Mm.
HCM, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how to compare HCM with finance, but we have openings for financials as well.
So what's the normal, what is it, compensation range that you guys expect for a functional financial person?
Yeah, normally, if I'm into cloud or the fusion, I'll
Mm-hmm.
expect at least 40% of what I am receiving here. So that is the normal or the minimum that I'll be expecting. So I have seen people even getting more than 60% hike, moving to fusion.
60%?
Yeah, 60%. I mean, his package is not that huge, but still 60% he has got.
Okay. Which means in terms of conversion, let's say, I don't know, in rupees or in dollars or whatever, approximately, give me a range. I mean, what's the
Yeah,
range?
I can say he was into six actually, 6 lakhs per annum. So from there, he moved, I think 10 or 11, I guess.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I would say that is a good hike actually.
Hmm. Okay. So anyway, forget about the hike. At least if I find a job, that's good enough. So yeah. So I think, as I said, Arun, I think I like something that's more practical.
Okay.
And if you can walk me through something more practical, what's exactly needed, and of course the concept of why we are doing something in financials and all that. Because what I have done is always my all the while I've been working, it's just been like have my hands in all. Okay, I've worked on HCM, PeopleSoft HCM. I worked on PeopleSoft financials. That's because I was thrown into projects like this.
Okay.
I was working on I was working on R12 implementation, and then and that was all new modules there. Earlier, I was working for Oracle incentive compensation, but I never got a job in that again. Then I got some other modules which I never worked on, like bits and pieces of order management and service contracts and other things. Then again, financials also not complete implementation of Oracle because they had peoples of financials, bits and pieces of this. And suddenly they said they threw me into that project and they said you have to test the integration between Oracle EBS and PeopleSoft Financials. I said I have zero knowledge about financials. I said I don't know ABCs of financials. Then they gave me what I had only 3 weeks to test that. So I literally learned financials in 3 weeks, documented the whole bloody thing for them, and finished the testing for them. So that's how I at least at least I got a basic knowledge of the financials. If I may not be an expert, I at least can relate to it a little bit after that project. So things like that, when they throw me into things like this, then I can pick something and learn. But so as I said, even the concepts and some of the things I haven't done all the modules. So the one I was just working for also was the financial one where I worked on AR a lot,
Okay.
and not the complete AR because we were doing a project with the VersaPay cloud automation software. So they were implementing that, and that was an integration between AR and that VersaPay. It's a third party one.
Okay.
So so that's where the APIs and the REST calls and all that came. But of course, I didn't have to do anything. All I did was testing it.
Mm.
So that's where I have, and I am not very, for some reason, I'm not very good at understanding the after receiving,
Okay.
that part is little, applying the invoices and all that. That's the part that's a little, I mean, I need those concepts a little more.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's where I am. As I said, hands in everything, master of none. So so walk me through a
Yeah.
practical,
Yeah.
exercises.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
And as I said, if you can find me some dump or somebody, all these youngsters must be taking some course, some certifications or something. I don't know anybody even to ask. So if you can get me something in terms of that certification,
Yeah. Yeah.
at least I'll start preparing for that.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the timings, Arun? Is this the only time you can spend with me?
Timing, actually, maybe I'll speak with Suresh once, and maybe I'll confirm on the timings.
I think he was telling something you have a couple of guys until next week or something he was saying. Maybe after that you'll be a little free or something he was saying, but I'm not sure. But you guys talk and let me know.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, yeah, because this is a little late for me in the sense 9 to 10. I'm almost dozing off.
yeah.
So uh, maybe your evenings, my morning should be fine.
Okay, yeah, sure, sure. We'll make that not an issue.
I mean, it's your convenience also, of course, because you're working. So let me know which one is better, and then we can figure it out.
Yeah, I'll speak with Suresh once, and I'll confirm on the timings.
Okay. Yeah. So how about tomorrow? Are we going to meet tomorrow at this time or?
Yeah, that's what.
What are the next steps?
Yeah, uh, yeah. If you want to have the daily class, we can have it. Or if you wanted to have maybe weekdays and weekends, we wanted to have as an off, so that also we can do it.
What is it? Weekend? What is it? I didn't get that.
No, like if you want to have class only on the weekdays or the weekends, so that
Hmm.
you can tell us, so that based on that we can plan. So the timings alone, I'll speak with Suresh.
Yeah. Uh, y- Weekend, I usually take some classes. I mean, yeah, that's fine. We can just do every day. Let's see how this goes, and then we can take. Let's say you give me some practical, exercises or something. Then I work on it, and if I have some questions, and let's say I need some more time to work on that or something, then we can do it accordingly as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, for now, let's do it every day.
Okay.
I want to make sure, I finish as much as I can. And then, as I said, if possible, take that certification also, so that at least I put my resume out and say, here you go. When I get a job is a different thing, but at least, I can have it out.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So, so that's the thing. So, yeah, if you can help me out with all these, that'll be great.
Yeah, sure, sure. No, 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 not an issue.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's it from me. And thank you for your demo. Um, yeah, I think you let me know what are the next steps, and then we'll go from there.
yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Is there anything else that you wanted to know?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. So only thing is, basically we'll have a daily session, right?
Yes, I'm thinking daily session should be good, so
Yeah,
that we can get this completed quickly.
yeah, sure, sure.
Quickly in the sense like it should make sense to me also. Not that it just has to be completed quickly, but it should make more sense to me.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, and I mean, the only thing is I want to be more confident.
yeah, yeah, sure.
So when it comes to the subject itself, I want to be more confident. And, once I'm confident, I can take care of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, understood, understood.
And if you, since you've already, as you said, you've worked on implementation projects, just let me know how it goes, just talk to me in general and tell me how things normally happen in an implementation project, what is expected, what is given, let's say if you're a functional consultant, they ask you to do CRPs, how do you do it, those kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
give me, I mean, let's just talk more practical stuff,
okay.
and tell me exactly like, what is expected from a functional consultant, and how do you conduct, let's say they throw me into something and say, let's do a CRP. How do I do
Okay.
it? What is expected? Those
Okay.
kind of things. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't done a functional role as such. Okay,
Okay.
always I've started off with testing, and
Okay.
then I picked up the subject as I did, and that's how I ended up doing the production things. But my role was never defined as a functional consultant or anything like that.
Okay.
So just to give you a background on why I'm asking you these questions and these things, so that it's easier now. If I want to go for a functional role, a typical functional role, they expect all these, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't say I don't know this. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, yeah. Understood, understood.
So, I mean, when you give me some examples, just, say how it is done in real world and what is expected. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's what.
So what we will do is that maybe we will have the use case, we will have the requirement, and we will
Mhm.
see how it needs to be done. And
Yes.
after seeing this, maybe if you're okay, I can give a task also. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you can consider this as an CRP, and you can just give me like what can be, anyway instance will be there. So you can
Hmm.
do the setup, and then you can give the demo or whatever it is. So based on that, maybe we can proceed. So that with this, we will have all those things in a practical way as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think yeah, you prepare the practical part of it, like like your requirement, your use case, or whatever. Let's go ahead and do that.
okay.
And as you said, if you can give me a task afterwards, just like that, then I'll practice the same thing and see in a different way how I can do it. Let's say
Yeah,
if it's the same thing but a different example or whatever it is.
yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if others ask you this kind of thing, but I'm asking you. Uh, I don't know how your other what do you call participants or your students were. What do they expect in general?
Their expectation would be like, and
Just the application
how it,
itself.
yeah, mostly it will be on application part because they will be working on EBS, so they will
Hmm.
be relating to the EBS mostly. So they will ask, this is in EBS and this is in Fusion, so what is the difference? Or what
Hmm.
is the new thing that we have it in Fusion and how to do it in Fusion and the technical aspect of it. So mostly it is kind of that way.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I may ask you also that,
Yeah.
but in a sense, like I'm not a big EBS great expert on that because, as I said, I have done all bits and pieces, and it's been years since I did some of them, some of the roles that I do. So it's I don't remember everything, so I
Yeah,
may have to relate to that. But for me, as I said, more practical, the better it is.
yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Um, that's it from me, Arun. Anything else from you?
Yeah, that's it from my end. So maybe we can start from tomorrow.
Okay, we'll start from tomorrow. And then, as I said, you let me know what all, I mean, is needed from my end,
Yeah,
and then we'll go ahead from that.
yeah, sure, sure.
And same time, or are we meeting at a different time?
Yeah, that's what. The time alone I'll discuss with Suresh and I'll ping in WhatsApp.
Okay, okay. Thank you for your time, Arun.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Thanks.